Okay. Microphone's on, speaker's on, music's on. I think we're all good. We are ready to roll. Now, I'm not going to make a big deal about how freaking cold it is, but it's insane. All right, let's just take a quick shot. I know nobody's there yet, but just for history's sake, it's 4 degrees. It's 5:03. And you'll notice that we're near empty because someone, I'm not going to name names, might have been me, did not fill up the tank yesterday when it was maybe 15 or 20 degrees. We're like, no, let's wait until it's 4 degrees and then we'll fill up the gas. But anyway, so that'll be part of our job today. But yeah, here we go. I think we're ready to roll. Now, we've got 2 deliveries today. It is Saturday morning, the day before the end of time. But we're going to carry on just like it's a normal day. Now, the donuts were not ready because folks are ordering up. The bakery is closed tomorrow because we're going to get a huge snowstorm that will begin tonight at midnight, I believe, this Saturday. So it starts at midnight tonight, and it pretty much snows straight through tomorrow. It looks like that's all they're calling for now. I don't know. And I didn't see that on today's weather, but I didn't spend a lot of time looking at the weather this morning because I was running a little bit late, which is odd for me. I will explain that in a minute. But to just wrap up the weather forecast. So we're supposed to get, I think it said 8 to 12 inches. So the prediction has been coming down a little bit. Initially, a few days ago, it was 18 inches. Now it's, then it went down to like 12 yesterday, and now they're 8 to 12. So they're starting to, hedge their bet a little bit. So I feel like it's going to be a lot of snow. 8 to 12 doesn't scare me though, really. I mean, that's a nice. Now, the thing about it that I don't like is that for the remaining week after this snowfall, somebody mentioned yesterday that they didn't see a temperature above freezing until February 4th. So whatever does come down tomorrow is going to be there for the foreseeable future. So, there's good things and bad things about that. So I like to focus on the good thing. The good thing is you don't get to splash, like it's so cold that once you get past that initial slushy, you got to go through that. But then once the snow gets put in its place on the side of the road rather than on the road, it won't be that wet. How when I'm riding along and I'm constantly mentioning how we just got some spray off of the car ahead of us. That won't happen for a while, I don't think. What else is good about it? You know what else is good about cold weather? I thought about this morning. Bugs. Bugs are good. I mean, bugs are not good, but extremely cold temperatures like this kill off a tremendous amount of the bug population. These bugs that they get underground and they kind of hang out down there throughout the winter. And I don't know if it's all kinds of bugs, but let's pretend that it is, right? So they all die. After, in the spring and summer, following a tremendously cold winter, you do have less bugs. I think that's a fact. You can Google it, but I believe it's true. If it isn't true, please don't tell me, because it's one of the positive things that I that I hold on to when temperatures like this. Like I'm suffering for some reason. And one of my reasons is bugs. I also don't really believe the cold weather is bad for you. You know, it's like, oh, don't go outside in the cold, you're going to get a cold, blah, 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 blah. I don't believe that. I actually believe the cold weather is good for you. I mean, look at the people that do like cold plunges and stuff. Now, I don't do that. I just can't quite do. I can't even stand in the shower. You know, the people that talk about cold showers or cold, ice plunges and stuff like that, and about how good they are for you. And I don't believe so strongly in it that I'm willing to suffer. I believe there's probably some truth behind it, but I can't even like turn the hot water off in the shower. That's the other thing. Sometimes people say, well, you can just if you're in the shower, just turn the hot water off at the end and just spend 30 seconds, a minute. I don't know how long you're supposed to spend there with cold water running over yourself, but I can't even do that. In an emergency, anything's possible, but if I have the option, if I have to actually go down and turn the hot water off, my brain just, at that moment it says, Craig, what are you thinking? Are you an idiot? And I stop. So, but this morning, all right, so let me tell you about this morning. So, I always get up at 2:30. Alarm goes off, I get up. And I think I did sleep until the alarm today, which doesn't happen a lot, but it did today. Because, I've been gradually getting a little bit less sleep every night until I'm trying to figure out exactly where the pain point is. And I might be there. I might be getting there. But anyway, so I woke up at the right time, and my alarm goes off, and then I have this playlist that goes, that goes off, starts at that time, and it goes through a couple of songs, and it's a playlist for the entire morning. So I know where I should be because I don't change the songs in the playlist too often. I do kind of every now and then, but so I have a pretty good idea of where I should be based on what song it is. Like, should I be in the shower right now when X song is on or whatever? Well, I wake up, I turned off the alarm, I'm laying there with AJ, we're kind of like having a little love moment. He likes to lay there and get his tummy rubbed and stuff. So doing that, and I swear I do not know what happened, but the next thing, so then I'm like, okay, it's time to get up. And I would have thought it was, 2-3 minutes later. So I get up and I go out to the kitchen and I let AJ out. That's our routine. He goes outside. I make his breakfast. And when I'm making his breakfast, I look over at on my stove, there's a clock. And it's like 3:15. I think it was 3:15 or 3:18 or something. It was close to 3:20. I'm like, what? I mean, by that time, we've already eaten. He should have eaten his breakfast. I should have already written my little, my 3 things I'm grateful for and read my little book and stuff. Like, all of that stuff was supposed to already happen by that time. By 3, when I checked, weather, stuff like that. I have like a whole little group of things that I kind of review in the morning. Well, that's all supposed to be done. And at 3:20, I'm supposed to be getting ready to get into the shower. Well, by 3:25 to be exact. So I'm like, all right, so immediately my mind goes into like emergency mode. What can I cut out? What can I reduce? What can I blah, blah, blah? Obviously, I have to take a shower. I have to shave. I mean, there would be people that would say, no, you really don't have to shave. Like, that's, people that don't shave for a day. But I would just feel weird if I skipped any of these things. I really didn't want to skip the gratitude journal and stuff like that. Like, I've got these things in my head that are like, I've got to do that. So I sort of did. I got through all the important stuff. I didn't skip too much. I skipped the treadmill thing, and I skipped, so I didn't really get to check the weather on my normal weather channel. I usually go to Weather Underground. I just checked it on the phone, but you know, I had to compromise a couple of things. So I basically made up for, let's just say, 45 minutes of my morning. So that ended up being one of the things I'm grateful for. I don't usually talk about my grateful things, but one of the things I was grateful for is that I've built enough time into my morning that if I do something stupid, and I still, to this moment, I have no idea what happened. Like, obviously, I've sort of nodded off and woke back up, but it was like it didn't happen. You know, I mean, I swear when I got up, I thought it was 2 minutes later. Which I realize you're going to be like, Craig, you're not conscious when you're asleep, so you really wouldn't know. And I get that. But you normally know that you just took a nap. And for some reason, I didn't. But now I'm not saying this. Please don't call emergency services and have them come pick me up. I think I'm all right. But it was just it's like one of those mornings. And I did get all the important stuff done. And here I am. I'm in the van because somebody has to deliver donuts. This has to happen. We've got 2 deliveries today. I don't think I mentioned that. So the donuts, I said the donuts weren't ready, which means we're going to make this first delivery and then we're going to go back to the bakery and work on the pick up the second delivery, which is kind of good because their delivery, they're both of the restaurants that I'm talking about ordered a little heavy because they know we're not going to be delivering tomorrow. But I think I don't know. This one place ordered like it's 2 days. Like the second place that we're going, it almost looks like 2 days worth of an order. And I would think tomorrow is going to be slow, right? Probably just going to have of course people do, people have to eat. And they need donuts. They need donuts, Danish, eclairs. It's important stuff. You got to be out there. You can't let people down. Somebody's waiting for a donut right now. Someone is going to be eating a donut later today, and it's going to be because of me. I mean, not just me. Obviously, they had to make the donut. But you know what I mean. It wouldn't have gotten there. Wow, you would think by the energy that I have speaking this morning that I had a regular morning, but I really didn't. Whoa. Craig, slow it down. Slow it down. The speed limit drops to 40 degrees when you go by the 40 miles per hour when you go by this place. And this person in front of me adhered to that 40 mile an hour. Now we're back up to 50. Let's see what happens. Yesterday I was coming down this road, probably not too far from here. This is about the area where it happened. I was coming down this road last night and there was a bad accident. Matter of fact, we might see the crumpled up guardrail. It would be on the right hand side. So let's check that out when we get down here. I don't know if you're going to see how well it'll come out on the camera. But so this accident had just happened, and as I come over, I think it was down here actually, because I feel like I just came over a hill and saw it. So I did not have a car right in front of me, right? So as I came up on the accident, the last car I could see going my direction was being led through, like they had this lane completely blocked off. So they were directing traffic and only one line of traffic could go through at a time. So my lane had just ended. So I get up there and I'm the first car in line to go when it switches back to us, right? Maybe we already passed it. Maybe? I think we did. If I see it on the way up, I'll point it out because we're going to be going back up after I make this delivery. So I'm sitting in the line and they're letting the traffic go north, the other direction. And this was in the evening. It was already dark. And so everybody's leaving Baltimore going up to Hampstead. It was like a little after rush hour, but that's about whenever all the cars get here. And so it was on and on and on. I knew they were trying to clear that line of traffic and get as many cars through as they could, because that was where that traffic was much, much heavier in that direction. So we're sitting there for a long time, and I see them stop that traffic. And there was a lot of like emergency lights. It's very hard to see the people that are directing the traffic, but I could see this guy that was standing there with like one of those, like a mini lightsaber, like whatever those flashlights are with a little light on the end. So he's waving, and I see him stop that traffic. And so I'm like, okay, it's going to be my turn. So I waited a minute or two, and then I see him waving the light thing again. And I'm like, all right, he must be telling me to go. So I pull out, I go around, the cars are stopped, coming the other direction, they're all stopped. Well, as I get up close to where he's standing, I can see he's not really directing me to come. He was talking to one of the tow trucks that was there on the side of the road that was trying to get out to pull away. Well, I didn't see that until I got like up there. And then I could see that the tow truck was moving, and then all of a sudden he's like starts waving his hands at me. Well, it's too late. I'm like already past the midway point. I was like beyond the point of control. So I just kept going slowly. I didn't like go crazy, but I just kept going. The guy behind me in the line had started coming with me when I pulled out. Well, they stopped him. So I made it through because I think the guy just didn't know he's like saw me and said, what is this idiot doing? And he's like, his hands go up in the air like, what? And I just kept going. I mean, I didn't know at that point what was I going to do? If I stopped, I would have just been in the way. So I kept going and rode at least for another mile or two in complete shame. My head was held down, and I apologized, but there was nobody to hear it. But the guy behind me, they stopped him. He really had it worse than me because he was kind of like stuck there in the middle. Everybody was going to be looking at him for however long it took for the tow trucks to get their situation set. I was at least free to go. And they never caught up to me, so he must have been sitting there for a long time, because I even at the end of that roadway, there's a traffic light. I even sat at that for a minute, and still nobody came. So I did save myself some time, and I didn't do it on purpose. Fortunately, I'm still riding around with a temporary tag, so I really don't have a license plate. I just have like this piece of paper in the back window. So I was completely incognito. I didn't really see like the accident. You know what I mean? I saw that the truck was pulling out, and when I looked over, I could see that the guardrail was completely demolished. Like all balled up and everything. So maybe it was just a single car type of issue. There was no reason for it. The weather's fine. I mean, if it wasn't so cold, it would be fine right now. And it will be fine until midnight. So I'm pretending that today is a totally normal day. Aside from the fact that it's so cold that, it's so cold that you really couldn't be exposed outside for a long time. I mean, I got layers on. I've got a jacket. I've got a little coat under that. I got a long sleeve shirt under that. Then I got 2 t-shirts. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 5 layers deep. But I don't have gloves, and I don't have a hat. I don't really don't wear hats. Like, in case anybody was going to buy me a hat, not a big hat guy. And I don't wear gloves a lot. I mean, I do wear gloves, but like when I shovel, I don't like wear them just to walk around. But this is the kind of weather where you need them. You need to be completely bundled up, because if you're outside in this for any length of time, you're going to freeze. You're going to freeze. It's not going to be pretty. It's life-threatening. I mean, I'm risking my life right now for these donuts and Danish. That's how it is. I am running my mouth like ridiculously this morning, isn't it? I'm a little ahead of time too. It's 5:24. I think we left the bakery, and I know we left before 5:15. If you notice, I always set up my live streams ahead of time. I schedule them because it's easier for me to just turn it on and everything's already set up in the morning. Like, I can just jump in the van. Because my goal, along with this whole process of like filming or live streaming I use those old-timey words a lot. Live streaming while I'm delivering donuts. My whole philosophy is it has to be transparent from the delivery process. Meaning, like, it's very nice of them to let me do this while I'm driving, but I don't want it, like, I can't build a process. I didn't want to build a process that was going to take any time. Like, do I have to sit, and set a whole bunch of stuff up? So, try to make it as seamless as possible. And part of that is getting the stream set up the night before. So all I really have to do is hit a button and say, yeah, this is the live stream, the scheduled live stream that I want to start. But the reason that I even came up, I do the weave. I know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, there's a famous person that talks about when he's speaking, he weaves, meaning that the conversation sort of goes off in different directions but always comes back to the beginning. I think I do that. I know my mind does it. I think that's the way it comes out of my mouth. But back to my original thought. My original thought was to say, I've got another scheduled live stream out there, and I scheduled it for tomorrow. I think I said at noon. That is not, wow. We're going 70 miles an hour, okay? Did you see those cars? Look at these cars. What? It's Saturday morning. These people should be chilled out. It's the panic. It's the excitement of the pending storm. It's got people freaking out a little bit. You got to bring it down a notch. So here's what I'm thinking. So tomorrow, in theory, it's going to be like this horrible storm. It's going to be snowing and it's going to be awful. And if that's the case, I'm not going to go out in my car and drive around. I don't have a Jeep. I wish I did, actually. I wish I had something that I could do some legitimate storm chasing type of live streams. That would be kind of fun. But I don't have a car like that. So, and at least at this point, I'm not willing to buy one. Just for that. Because we don't, the weather's not that bad that often. So, what I'm going to do tomorrow is try to figure out if there's a way you know, what would be best. Like maybe I'll have just the camera like faced out my window in a way that you can kind of like see me shoveling snow. I can have the microphone on. I could be out there shoveling snow, talking to you. I think I could probably even wear like an earbud and hear the text to speech. If I really worked it out, I probably could do that. So that's an idea. Or maybe I go out and I just walk around, walk on the streets and stuff. But if it's actually snowing at that moment, that could be very difficult. Keep the camera clear and all that kind of stuff. So I got to think about how I'm going to do that. If things seem to be relatively under control, meaning that you're not taking your life in your own hands when you go out on the street driving, assuming it's somewhere below that level, I might go out, maybe. So I don't know. It's just going to be so cold. It's hard to walk out the door when it's that cold, you know? AJ, man, it doesn't stop AJ. Last night, he kept coming in. He would come in, he'd drop the ball. But even the 2 seconds that it takes me to step out on the porch and throw it into the backyard, that was even too much for me. He's running out there getting it, coming back in. That's the cold version of our playing fetch game. And he's very proud of himself. Like he walks, when he comes in, after he's got the ball, and he walks in. Now I do like, I look out the door so I see when he's coming. Because now it's too cold that I don't even like to leave the door open. Like even cracked, I don't even like it because it's too cold. So I look out the window and see when he's when he gets to the end of the driveway and he's coming up closer to the door. And he knows that like as he jumps up on the porch and comes walking toward the door, that the door is just going to open. So I like open it and I like swing my arm out. You know what I mean? Like you would do if you were welcoming someone into your home. That's what, in a very dramatic way. That's what I do when he comes in. And then he does a circle in the kitchen. And he kind of prances. It's a little bit of a prancy run. I mean, I think if his guide dog friends saw him doing it, he'd be a little embarrassed because it's a little prancy, a little bit like, you know, look at me. And then he drops the ball. Now, sometimes he tries to carry the ball like back out to the porch and look back at me like, well, come on. Like, let's really make this happen. Let's do this for real. Right. You know, I'm half tempted to keep the van running when I go into Lenny's. This would be the day that somebody stole it. But I'm thinking it's too cold for thieves. What do you think? Anybody want to vote for this? And if you say that you think it's okay, I'm going to leave the van on and I'm going to hold you totally responsible. If anything happens, I'm going to say, well, it was, and then read off your username. Track you down. Get Homeland Security to figure out who it is. Oh, look, they're not open. What? It's dark in there. Oh, my God. Oh, here's a car. Hopefully this is somebody that can unlock the door. I'm not that early. Who's he? Oh, he's just driving through. That sucks. All right, guys, this is good. We got a little excitement here. All right, I am going to lay this thing out. It is dark in Lenny's. They should be there by 5:30. All right. All right, I'm going to go out there and just at least look in the window and bang a little bit, see if anything comes. The cars that there's definitely one or two less cars here than usual. Oh, well, you're going to come with me anyway. I don't have to finish my conversation. Oh my God. I don't see any lights. Like even in the back, I don't see any lights at all. Here. I'll bring the Saturday morning, right? I'll bring this down here so you can see what I'm talking about. Dark. See that? Now that's what the bread guy left here. Okay. But yeah, see when you look in here, there's like not even stuff like in there, right? There's the Coke machine, but there's no sign of life in there at all. Oh man. So in a worst case scenario, I got so many trays of stuff though. All right, we're gonna sit in the van for a few minutes and see what happens. What do you think we should do? Has the world come to an end? Did I like miss something on the way down? I should call. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the Lenny's number and just see if anybody picks up. I seriously don't think that's going to happen, but let me give it a shot. Lenny's. I never call them, so we're going to go for search. Lenny's. Can't type sideways. L-E-N-N. There we go. What is Delicatessen? All right, I think you're going to go. I think it's going to drop the audio for a minute when I make this call. Hang on. Okay, so we just got the recording. All right, guys. Well, I do have to get gas. Maybe I'll go down and get gas. Let's do that. Let's do something productive. Okay? Oh, look. As soon as I said that. Is this a Lenny's person? I believe it is. I think we just made it. All right, guys, I think this is going to work. We might get in. I hope that's somebody with a key. We don't know yet. Here's what could be happening. First of all, it's taking too long to get out of that car. So I'm thinking maybe they don't have a key to the place, but they hopefully have a phone number for somebody who does. The plot thickens. Let me look at something here. Oops, light went out. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, here he comes. Yeah, I think this guy has a key. All right, let's see what happens. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good morning. Cold enough for you?
Oh yeah, man. 9 degrees out here.
I know. It was 4 up at Hampstead. Yeah. See, this guy just decided to drop him and go.
Yeah, he drop and go. He ain't waiting for nobody. Huh? I better grab this around real quick.
You're welcome. Boys and girls. There we go. We got lights. I'm just pretending like everything's normal. See, this is what happens if you don't build enough time in the morning. This goes right along with my story about having enough time in your morning. That if something happens, you can shift. You know what I'm saying? All right. Whew, feels nice and warm in there. Okay, here we go. Cookies. Cookies! Okay. Yeah, that's okay. There's a guy there. good. Load it up, ready to roll. Tray in here, and we're good to go. Thank you. Have a good one. All right. Delivery is done. Now we go back to the bakery. For the next one. Oh. Okay. All right. So for anyone who may have just joined, what's happened is came down here. Got here, I mean, we really weren't that early. I was about 10 minutes earlier than normal, but there's nobody in there yet. So the place was dark. Guy just showed up. But we're all good. We are really low on gas. I'm trying to figure out when I want to get the gas. I don't know if we're going to make it to my normal spot. Let's see, what else to think about this. We can make it back to Hampstead. Maybe I'll ride up Reisterstown Road and see if there's a gas station. It looks like maybe I could actually find a gas station that doesn't have a super big roof or whatever you ever call that. What do you call that? You know what I mean? The awning? Is it an awning? That's not really an awning though. You know what I mean? Over the gas pumps. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so they're not going to have such a good day at Lenny's this morning because I'm sure they're at least probably close to an hour behind in prep work. There's only two guys there, actually. There was another guy showing up at the same time that guy did. So, but today's, I mean, aside from the fact that it's freezing cold, it's a normal day. Like this, there's no real, I could see that happening tomorrow if they try to open. But not today. There's no reason. No reason. I wonder how, you know how electric cars supposedly have a little difficulty in cold weather. Not difficulty, but I think that the batteries don't last as long in super cold weather. You know what I mean? The charge. I don't know. Testing out the Starlink in extremely cold weather. I think we'll be fine. Do I have the cord? I think I have the cord if I need it. The only thing I would worry about is the battery. Like if it does shorten the lifespan of the charge. But I don't think that's going to be an issue. You might have to go below 0. And by the way, I always talk in Fahrenheit, so if anybody's listening from around the world, I'm using the weird US measurements as opposed to what the rest of the world does. Do you think I have enough? I have a quarter of a tank. I'm a little below a quarter of a tank. It's 5:50. That gas station opens at 6:30. So I'd have to be able to make it. No, I could get it on my way over. I'll be passing there. I'll be passing Westminster, that's where I get the gas, in probably about 45 minutes. Maybe even more.
Pianette says no. Fill up.
No, I think I can do it. Look at you. I think I can make it. We're just below a quarter. Well, we'll see. It's a big difference in the price of gas. I don't know. Maybe I'll stop. Janet, it's cold out here. It's cold. And
Pianette says yes, Westminster will work.
I think it will. I think it will. There was nobody at Lenny's when I got there. Did you see that part? I don't know if it did. When I pulled in, it was dark. Nobody at all in there. So, and I knocked, but I could even tell there were no lights on in the back or anything. So I was getting ready to think, oh, well, maybe I'll use this time. I'll go and get gas and then come back and somebody will probably be there by then. But at that very moment, the guy pulled up. The bread guy doesn't wait, so he just leaves his stuff at the door. So whenever that happens, there's always stuff, like a little pile of stuff by the door. I think Jackie once told me that she's like, you know what, if they're not there, you should just leave it, put the trays, because they've got those tables out front. She's like, just put the trays on the table. But the first thing that goes through my mind when I think of that is that they show up and they're just like some crows sitting there eating a Danish and an eclair. You know, you look up and then the crows are standing there over the trays. And when you pull up, they kind of look up and they've just got cream all over their
Pianette says,
beaks.
I just tuned in. I guess the staff is starting their snow day early.
I know. There's nothing wrong out here. that place is open. Are they open? I wonder if I could get gas in here. It looks like their pumps are open. Let's do it. I mean, this is an emergency situation. I'm trying to go someplace where I won't lose the connection with the Starlink. I think the sign says they're open.
Free outlet, your extreme value healthy eating headquarters. Find fresh produce, gluten-free options, and hydration favorites, all while saving.
I think I lost you. Maybe you're back? Are you back? I can't tell. It looks like you might be back. Are you back? You're either coming back or it's so far gone that they just dropped the message. All right, we got gas now. Let's see if we can get the boom. Let's see. Can't even get a red light if I want one. It looks like I'm back. I've got to find a gas station that has no roof over it. I don't think they exist anymore.
Annette says I'm back. Have to change Teddy's diaper. He slept over last night.
Yeah, Jem was telling me. That's pretty cool. I'm glad I'm back. You didn't miss anything. I was getting gas, and I think the live stream died. It looked like it did. There's a message that comes up that tells me that it's it's not picking up the connection, and that happens when I go underneath a gas pump roof.
Annette says, did you get gas?
I did.
That's when I tuned out.
Yeah. So yeah, you didn't miss anything. Now, are you taking Teddy back over there today? He's doing the same thing I am. See that road? Like we should be over in the other lane. But they did all this construction. I hope they pave this road again. I really do. Just... Cold weather doesn't help either. We're up to 6 degrees now. It's getting toasty out there. Oh, I'm going to try to find that spot where the accident was yesterday. There's no way they fixed that guardrail yesterday. I mean, it just happened last night. If I hang back far enough from that truck, maybe I can do my... Put the high beams on. Far. Maybe they just take that piece of guardrail away. I was running my mouth coming down here, wasn't I? Now I'm like, I got nothing left to say. Goodness. All right. It's not far. Oh, you know what? That building, that light that we just passed, if you go off to the left there, that's sort of like Maryland's emergency, I don't know what they call it, some kind of emergency center. But I bet they're getting ready. That's like if there's anything happening in the state, like a hurricane, anything like that, that's where the governor goes. They'll hang out. Control them. Oh, that's where it was, right there. See what? Yeah. You can't really see it, but that's where the guardrail was, right there. So that's where I drove through the accident scene inappropriately. Last night, not with the van. I am going to start live streaming though more from my car. I got it all, getting it ready. I haven't placed the phone holder in the window yet. Once I get that done, I'm good to go. So the plan is we go back to the bakery, we pick up the order for a What a Day Cafe, and then we head over there. And it is, I'll probably have to use both racks inside the van because it is a double order. I know what they do is they wrap it all up when it gets in there. Like they'll take their supply for today and put it out, and then they'll take the others and put it in the, wrap it up, put it in a refrigerator overnight. Kind of funny that we all drive around in cars. I was thinking the other day, can you imagine like if you just went back in time, you wouldn't even have to go that far, right? Like just take somebody from 200 years ago and plop them somewhere in the United States. I mean, can you imagine what they would think? Like you see these giant metal boxes just rolling around, people are in them. It's kind of comical when you think about it. Just what we've done, what human beings have done is just ridiculous. It's unbelievable when you think about it. But just imagine that. Like you take one of those people, and I'm not even talking about Neanderthals. I'm talking about a person, you know, who was riding around on a horse. So crazy, and it really wasn't that long ago. I mean, what the heck did they do? Can you imagine how difficult life was? Like right now, 6 degrees. Living in, I guess you had a fire. I mean, it was post-fire. Don't even get me started before fires. here we here we are sitting, our cushioned chairs, riding along in a box with wheels on it. That's all it is. And they would be like, I was, one of the things that stood out to me, I was watching, one of the episodes of The Chosen, if anybody's ever seen that. It's hard to describe where it is. I think it's on Netflix now, I think. Or Amazon, one of them. There for a while, you had to go to a weird site to see it. I think maybe it's Amazon. But anyway, I haven't caught up with it since, I think we're in season 5 or getting ready to go on 6. But I haven't caught up on the newer episodes. But one of the things that really stood out to me was that, they would walk to from town to town. I mean, the super wealthy, government, the Roman emperors and stuff would ride around in the horse-drawn carts. But most people, the common people, walked from town to town. And I just thought, we really don't do that anymore. But now our version of that is sitting in the car talking to people, right? I mean, that's sort of the equivalent of walking from town to town. But there's a lot of, that's when you can really kind of get some good conversation going with people. And I guess we do it in cars now. We still do it. We just do it in a car. And we do less of it, I guess, too. We do. I mean, a lot of people are in their cars by themselves. It's not like everybody's riding around with their family. And I don't know that, I think that the road trip idea of everybody getting in the car and driving for long distances, I think we're doing a little less of that these days, but that was kind of cool. That's always a fun thing. Stuff happens. It's like an adventure. And Route 66 was all kinds of crazy stuff happened. And looking back on stuff like that, sometimes oh man, I can't believe that happened. And we just but you just have to deal. We got a flat tire. I think it was a flat tire one time. I mean, all that stuff is going to happen to you at some point if you're on the road enough. What kind of car is that? What symbol is that? Is this guy going to let me go or not? Every now and then you come across a truck that doesn't like the fact that you're trying to get past them there. Not often, but every now and then it does. Kind of start to come over early. goes back. So the plan is this. I have to go in and write up the invoice for what it is, and then load up the van, and then we'll get going. I'm going to leave the live stream running. I'll probably leave the mic in here because
Annette says, are you headed back to get your next order?
yeah, I'm on my way. I'm actually just now getting back to the bakery, and so I'm going to leave the live stream go. Oh, let's do it. I'm going to leave the live stream going. But yeah, I got to go in there and write up the invoice. Look at this, man. What the heck? Busy, busy, busy. I'm telling you, this bakery does not stop. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to leave this here. I might even leave it running because it's only going to be a few minutes. But I got to write up the invoice, load up the van, and then we'll get going. I'm going to take the mic off because I don't think he's sitting in there with. Where's the magnet? There it is. Be very careful with these magnets or they'll slip. All right, I'm going to put you up here. Right there. Okay, I'll be right back. got a lot of donuts. I'm telling you. I got 224 donuts right here. Not to mention the Danishes, croissants. that took a little longer than I thought. Sorry for any inconvenience. All right, folks, we have 224 donuts in the van right now. What else? I think I have 12 cinnamon buns. All right, here we go. It is 5 degrees. 5. Okay, I think the last time we left it was 4, so Hampstead is warming up. All right, here we go. So we're on our second delivery. We just left. And we've barely got a van full of stuff because we won't be making our delivery tomorrow, and they've ordered some extra. So we've got 224 donuts. 224, among other things. 12 cinnamon buns. So we got cronuts, we got donuts. I'll probably wait until I've been up for a little while because I'll still get up at 2:30. But tomorrow morning, I'll be able to look out and I'll know that somebody out there is eating one of our donuts. I want to call them my donuts because really, once they're in the van, they're mine. I may not have, created them per se. But once they're in the van, I take full ownership. So we've got gas. Oh, I do have to make one little extra stop to drop something off at a residential location. So I might have to just turn the camera around for a little bit. I'm going to get close to that. I don't want to retain privacy for the innocent. What was that? Remember that saying? What show was that? Where they said names are held to protect the innocent. Names have been changed. That's what it was. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. What show was that? Dragnet? No, I don't know. Somebody Google that. There were a bunch of people in the bakery when I got there. I think there was somebody in there talking about how they come down from Pennsylvania. But, I mean, I hate to say it, but today, right now, it's pretty much life as usual, except the cold. I'll give you that. What did we say about cold, everybody? Bugs. Remember that. Less bugs. When you're out there freezing your butt off doing something, just remember, maybe there'll be one less fly in your house this coming year. be a point too where the animals feel it, you know? It has to be. You can't tell me that like a cow feels the same way today than they do when it's 70 degrees sunny. What's going to happen out here on the streets. Now look, I don't know if you can see it, a little bit of that brine. I started noticing it yesterday on our streets here. Still have the hay bales out. I mean, if it really is bad tomorrow, my plan is to get up, get up my normal time, which means it might have only been snowing for a couple hours at that point. And really maybe not even all that heavily, So it won't look too bad yet. But I like to keep up with the snow if it's really going to be like a foot. I would say 6 inches or less. I would wait till it just finished snowing. But once you start getting up into the 8 to 12 inch range, I'd like to go out a couple times, keep it, unless the ice is coming. It's going to turn into ice. I don't want to have it shoveled down to the pavement when the ice starts, because that just becomes a nightmare. You can't get ice off of it. You can't shovel ice off of the pavement, put it that way. Guy still has all of his Christmas ornaments out all over his front yard. But yeah, so that's my plan, is to, I'll be stay at the house the whole day, but unless I'll get outside, but depending on the conditions, I won't plan to be on the road unless they're really taking care of the highways. Unless, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's a mystery. Slow down, Greg. Slow down. They got a decent amount of brine on this road. I definitely think that live streaming Route 66 would be cool. I think my brother and I would have done that if we had the technology to do it at the time. I mean, I know we talked about it. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could have a camera just pointed out the window the whole time? And boom, here we are. Today's world, you technically could do that. And I don't think we didn't really drive 12 hours a day. I mean, like, I think it's definitely doable. And it wouldn't even be that crazy. You plug the Starlink in, put it on the roof, so you don't have to worry about I wouldn't personally go through the battery. I'd probably have them for a backup, but I would plug the Starlink in, and plug your camera in. Probably the worst issue is going to be heating up the camera. Especially if you're doing it, depending on what time of year you're doing it, but you're driving along in Arizona or Southern California, it's going to be pretty warm. So I could see that being a challenge to keep the phone from overheating. I gotta go through my pictures. I should post pictures or come up with a way. Maybe I'll come up with a way where I could like film them. You know what I mean? Like I'll have the pictures. I'll basically be showing the pictures. Almost like a slideshow. And then talking. I should do that with my brother. Like we should sit down together because there's stuff I'm not going to remember. I was about to say, oh, this is crazy. I was about to say there's stuff I'm not going to remember, and there's stuff he won't remember. But that's not true. There'll be stuff that I don't remember, but there probably won't be. There won't be things that I'm like, oh yeah, remember when this happened? And he'll be like, no, I don't remember that. That doesn't really happen. And I don't say that to indicate that my memory is bad, although it sounds like that. It's not. His memory is like I'm surprised he doesn't actually remember the moment that he was born. Yeah, I remember, and then all of a sudden there was this light, and somebody smacked me on my butt. And I had like this tube coming out from my stomach, and they cut it. That'd be funny. I wonder what this drive will be like on Monday. Well, and I might not even be making the drive on Monday. Monday, if it snows all day Sunday into the evening and night, then it is possible that we really won't be back on the road until Tuesday. Gotta play it by ear. Play it by ear. I think no matter what, even if we get ridiculous weather on Sunday and it's impossible to get out, like we just get dumped on and I can't even open my door, there's so much snow. Even if that happens, I would suspect that I could be out by Monday. Because we've dealt with 3 feet of snow. I mean, this is... Irish song going on here. Super cool. There we go. We'll give them a minute, see if they show up spontaneously. We need to go. Sweet Pets Music, that's what this is called. Sweet Pets. I'm gonna do this. Let's go in here. Switcheroo, there we go. All right, I'm gonna call them. Bear with me a second. This could result in a brief. Oh, look, you're gonna see my face when I'm trying to read this phone. Try to look like I'm not squinting. What a day, what a day! All right, hang on, you might lose audio for a second. I know you're gonna be sad because this song is a winner. Okay, be right back. Gotta take the seatbelt off. All right, let's see what we got here. It's got some trees in there. All right, let's get this set up. So, there they There we go. I think we got room now. What I'm going to try to do is put all the donuts in first, so it's somewhat organized. We have a winter variety now of the donuts. With like blue and white sprinkles representing snow. All right, hold on. I'm going to finish the. We got more donuts back here. Donuts! Sheet in there. 12 cinnamon buns. You see them? Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, baby. Cinnamon buns. That was my nickname in high school. Good morning. I have enough trays here for them. 2, 3, there, 4. 4, yeah. Okay. Filling this rack up. Oh no, you know what? I got 4 of these. I still have something in the other cabinet. Uh-oh. We might have more than they got room for. Only got 1 tray left there. Oh yeah, I need 2 more spots. Let's put this up here. Trying to be a little creative with stuff. We might just make it. How many will this give me? 1, 2, and then I put 1 on the roof. There's that. Let's put 1 of these up here. This is like a video game, like Tetra. All right, so got 1 there. Here. Come on, sitting on top. Boom. Tell you what, made that work. Put this sticker up here. It was not easy today, guys. It's not easy. You know, the donut driver's job is never done. You've heard of the Towering Inferno. This is the Towering Donut. At least we're inside now. Oh, thank you. Filled it up today.
Oh wow, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're not working tomorrow.
I was about to say you guys better not open. I really hope that we're not open.
Well, I hope you are, because you got a lot of donuts to sell. I got in there, like I had to move the stuff around a little bit because I filled them all up.
Gotcha, okay.
The sheets, like I have sheets that say which day was supposed to be which,
Gotcha.
but they didn't have somebody there to like label everything today. So that's donuts, and then the other stuff is below that.
Gotcha.
And you got something up there.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully it's not going to be crazy.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for
Enough-
what the customers' sake.
Yeah, really. True. All right, have a good one, guys. Stay safe tomorrow. All right, man. Have a good one. All right, let's just take that. Trays. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Appreciate that. Good. He came out. God, he walked out here with short sleeves on. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm going to leave that like that because we're going to drive to. Let's make sure I know the name of this road. We got to drop off. Where's my map? It's right up the street, so we don't really have that far to go. It's a winter storm warning, by the way. It's flashed up on my phone. That's good to know. Good to know. All right, where are we going? We're going to...
McDaily 582 says yo.
Hey, good morning. I'm a little behind. Well, not behind. We're like on schedule today. The first place I went to this morning, they weren't even there yet. They're running a little late. There's no excuse for this because it's just cold. I mean, it is very cold. 7 degrees now. We're warming up. Where am I going? I'm going to... Where to, guys? Bobby, where is he? I have to, I thought I had him in here. I have to drop something off at a house today, so I'm going to leave the camera like that until I get up there. What happened to my song? Contacts. It is frigid. Bobby. There we go. Okay, I know where I'm going now. I know for sure. Yeah, so I get to the first place this morning and it was dark. There was no one there. But they showed up right before I wasn't going to leave. I was going to leave and get gas and then come back, but they showed up. Sun's up. I am starting to notice that it's brighter earlier. Firearms training. Oh, look, you can't see. I know. I don't usually ride like this. You got nothing to see but me. Nothing. You can't even look out the back window because I don't have one. I paid $2.99 for gas today. Not good. That was regular gas too. It wasn't like.
Team Daily 582 says that's nice longer days.
Yeah. Yeah, getting up this morning, I've really gotta start. I gotta start getting back in my 8:30, 9 o'clock schedule. Because this morning I was a little behind this morning. I woke up on time, but then I was laying there with AJ, and next thing I know, it's like a half an hour later. Like, I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. Fortunately, I have a cushion to work with in the morning, but yeah. Yeah, the bakery's definitely not open tomorrow. I don't know what they're going to do Monday. Sounds like she thinks they're not going to be open Monday too, but I don't know. Now the weather forecast is saying 8 inches, 8 to 12. And we all know 8 inches is a lot.
Team Daily 582 says yay man, rest is important.
It is. Well, last night, so like yesterday, I had worked out in the afternoon, but I had my car was getting inspected. I got a notice that I guess they're working on my registration for my new car. So I got a notice that I need to get it inspected. So this place that I bought it from, I don't think I would use them again, because they really kind of, I mean, they were like a dealership in Illinois. It wasn't like buying it. What was last time I bought a car online, it was CarMax. They kind of had their act together. This group didn't, but it's all right. It is what it is. It's a great car. So it had to be inspected. I took it over. The place that I went to is within walking distance to my house, so dropped it off. That was one of the reasons I left yesterday afternoon for a little bit. Dropped it off, came back home, fed AJ. I laid down. That was my nap time, so I took a little bit of a nap then, unintentionally, but I did it. And I started to work out. I got like half of my workout in. Then I got back online. And so then actually toward the end of the time I was online last night, I was actually downstairs working out, finished my workout. And I think the fact that I was like doing that right before I went to bed kind of had my body wasn't like ready to just like go to bed right away. But it's all good. I did, I got up on time. I just did, I took another spontaneous nap. Unintentionally. The sun is bright. I mean, there are people are like acting all crazy, like, oh my God, the weather. And it is ridiculously cold. But outside of that, it's a normal day. And our snow is not supposed to start until midnight. So I figure when I wake up tomorrow, it may not be too bad yet. I can kind of check things out. But I don't think I'll go out. I don't, you know, if it's in the middle of the snowstorm, I'm not going to go out on the road. I might walk on the road, but I won't drive on the road. This is just a drop off. This is as close as I get to DoorDash. Unload this, and then we can switch the camera. Be right back.
Daily 582 says I have a ball game in 10 minutes. Look at that sunrise. Hold on. Tighten this back up. Yeah, when is your snow supposed to start? Or ice. Maybe it's ice. There we go. This driveway. This driveway isn't designed. Fortunately, we're making a right-hand turn. Daily 582 says possibly starting between 3 and 7.
Oh, wow. That's earlier then. But if it starts, see, if you're getting ice, you don't want to be out there even when it starts. Like with snow, you can kind of like play it by ear. If it starts snowing, you could head home. But with ice, you got to be.
Daily 582 says the chances start climbing up at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to mess around with ice, though. Driving right into the sun.
Daily 582 says true.
Apparently that little warning sign that I was getting on the van about the tire pressure system, apparently it just stopped doing it. Like, I thought maybe he had them look at it the other day, but he said he didn't. When he turns it on, and the message seemed to go away. Maybe it was just something with having the tires just recently changed. But we're not getting that message anymore, which is good. I was thinking about that Route 66 idea. It's fun. I think what we should do is I'll start on the West Coast and you can start in Chicago, and then we'll like live stream and we'll be live streaming as we drive along, and then we'll meet like in the middle and pass each other. Is this where I'm going? I always screw this up. No. The entrance to the road that I want to take, here we go. It's one of those deals where it's not an intersection and I have to make a turn before the road. And I've passed it more than once. You look at that and you're like, well, okay, there's a big sign there that says 97. How can you miss that? Believe me, it's possible.
Daily 582 says good idea.
Yeah. Because my brother, when we drove that, we did it twice. We did it once when it was just my brother and I, and then the second time we did it, we had my niece and nephew with us, and you know, he mapped it all out so that we could spend as much time as possible on the true original route. Because you can do the whole thing basically following the interstate highways that were built later, but that's not as much fun. So you got to go through the towns and you got to do all that stuff. But it took us through some pretty crazy spots. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's the kind of thing I think you would like. You know, you're driving on this old piece of roadway that you really feel like you're driving through some guy's ranch, you know, in the middle of Arizona or something. But it was the old Route 66. And there are sections of it that aren't drivable anymore. But you can still kind of see them from the interstate where you're driving. I mean, my brother had it down to like knowing where you'd be driving along on a section of the highway and there would be a culvert that still existed out, you know, where it's, I think that's what you call it, that section of the road where like maybe there's a creek.
Says it would be cool to have a drone at the time.
Oh yeah, drone would be good too. That's true. Yeah, actually that's because what happened is we went out, one time we pulled over to look at this, you know, off in the distance you could see this where the original Route 66 went through this field. And, you know, they're like little creeks or whatever, and so there's this little culvert there, and we wanted to see if we could spot it, and we did. But we're walking through, we pulled over, and we're walking off of the highway a little bit in this field, and all of a sudden I stepped down, and the grass was like, you know, maybe a foot tall. I stepped down and I hear a rattle, like I had stepped onto a rattlesnake, and we like freaked out. Like I think I probably screamed like a girl. I mean, I was insane. And then we're like running out of this field back toward the highway, but we don't know if like high stepping it. It had to be. If you drove by and saw us at that moment, it would have been ridiculous. But yeah, so I did step on a rattlesnake. And I remember thinking, like, as we were, you know, we got back in the car, we kind of settled down, and then we started driving again. But I was thinking, like, what if I had got, you know, what if the snake had bitten me? Like, we're like in the middle of nowhere. But it was fun. Actually, that story, that's why, like, trips like that are like, you can't do any better than that. A road trip is the best. I mean, that happened a long, long time ago, and just one of the last times at a family gathering, my niece and nephews. Uncle Craig, is it true you stepped on a rattlesnake one time? So like that's how like stuff like that just like becomes, you know, the story. It's pretty cool. So I highly recommend it. That's my.
Daily 582 says definitely want to do it.
And it ends basically right at the Santa Monica Pier. Like that's where the route ends. So when you're in California, that's the area you're in. I was thinking I want to make I guess it would sort of be like a PowerPoint kind of thing with the pictures where you, like, I take some pictures. I don't have a lot of film. I think I did take a movie camera with us though, like a camcorder thing, I think. I don't know if I can find that stuff. I would like to put something together. Like go through it, like maybe narrate it with my brother. He remembers stuff better, like all the details. He's really good about that.
Daily 582 says I've done so much crazy stuff where no pictures were taken. Maybe that's why I'm always videoing things now.
Yeah, I took a lot of video when I was younger too. Like originally I had the camcorder machines that were like, you'd sit them on your shoulder and they basically they taped directly onto a VHS tape. Like you'd slip that in there and it would. I had a few of them. I used to buy them. Oh man, I'd film it. I filmed a lot of stuff. There's the only one I think I have on YouTube that's kind of old. Well, I have a couple, but there's one in there where my brother and sister-in-law were walking around in Reisterstown after a tornado had come through. I don't remember what year that was, but it's in my my videos, and that was probably the camcorder machine that I was, the camcorder, they call it camcorder, and I mean, that's hysterical thinking about now you just have it in your phone. Because we went from that was the big camera at the time, and then it went down to a smaller size that was like a mini something. I forget what they called those tapes, but they were like maybe the size of a matchbox.
Daily 582 says those camcorders were huge.
Yeah, they were. They were. You basically sat it on your shoulder when you were using it most of the time. Then they got a little smaller. Now you don't need them at all. But I got some good. I would take it with us when we go like miniature golfing and stuff like that sometimes, just to get some shots. So I'm not in them a lot. That's the thing about, if you're the person that takes the film all the time, you're not like in it as much, which is fine with me.
Driven Daily 582 says I did have a friend that had the smaller version, who did film a lot at the car meets back in the day. I don't know if any ever got transferred to digital.
Well, I'm having trouble finding something, because I have a lot of that kind of tape, a lot. And
Daily 582 says I'm in those, but I don't know if it exists anymore.
yeah, and on tape you want to
you do want to kind of transfer it to digital because the tape will eventually fade out. Even like some of my older VHS tapes have, you know, you can just tell that they faded a little bit. But I have a lot of those smaller tapes, and I still have the camera, so I can run them, because those cameras, you played the tape right in the camera sometimes, and you can hook them to your TV. But I haven't found an easy way to transfer that tape to a digital, you know, like an MP4 type file. Trying to figure that out, an easy way to do that. And I don't want to send, I've got so many of them. I'm not going to send, you know, those services that you can get where you send all your tapes off and then they send you back a disc, or now they probably email it to you or put it on in the cloud, but I don't want to do it that way. I have a video, like it was one of those, a smaller camera. My brother and I were at the Daytona 500. The first Daytona 500 that we went to was again, I'm not going to know the year on this exactly. I think it was 2000 or 2001. But the first one we went to was the one where Dale Earnhardt, on the last lap, hit the wall and he was killed. That was the first Daytona we went to. And then I think I went to like 12 or 13 after that. And then my brother continued to go. And now my nephew is still, like, I think he still renews those seats every year. Like,
Daily 582 says, whoa.
I had that too. Like, I actually had that, you know, because I think I was filming the end of that last lap. So somewhere I have a tape that has that accident in it. Yeah, that was really weird. Like, nobody knew. You know, people were listening, because when I'm sure you've been to a NASCAR race, but you know, you can listen to your drivers, and people that were tuned into Dale's car, you know, I mean, obviously they knew that there was an accident and they weren't hearing any response from him, but they didn't really announce that he had passed away until probably, I guess, maybe an hour or so after the race, because we were on our way home. Not home, but home to the hotel. We were on the highway headed home. And like at the track, when people were like, oh yeah, did you see that accident at the end, blah, 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 nobody really knew yet that it was as bad as it was. Brine lines. I guess we made out all right. They put the brine down. I saw some of it yesterday, and now seeing more on the roads here. But we did okay because there hasn't been a rain situation, and it's not going to rain now. Above freezing again until next month. Saturday, right? Why is there a school bus out? It is Saturday, right? That was pretty cool watching you change the brakes yesterday. I mean, I have no idea. I've never done any real car mechanic stuff, so that does amaze me. Because when you break it down, like, and you look at what you're doing, it makes sense, right? All the steps make sense. And it's pretty straightforward, but I mean, when you just look at it, it looks like an overwhelming task to an untrained eye. This is where I pass through all of my hay cylinders. I think one thing when I saw your clip the other day of where you were the car at McDonald's that almost ran into you.
Daily 582 says, "Hey cylinders, let's go."
Hey. No, but I was thinking about that McDonald's car the other day, and it's like with anything, people don't realize when, unless they've had the camera in the car, you don't realize that it looks further away in the camera. The camera does not do justice to a close call, because like I've had a deer run in front of me that is like right there, and when you look at it on the film, it's like, yeah, I see it, but I don't know what you were so worked up about. Like it doesn't look as close. Like, and so the two things one of the times too was that car that was coming toward you that ran the light when you were making the left.
Daily 582 says, exactly. She was super close.
I know. And I mean, I know that from looking at it, but if you really look at the film and you didn't know how that works, you'd be like, okay, yeah, she pulled in front of you, but you don't get that same, the experience is like, holy crap. Especially when she went off to the left, and I'm like, yes. I think you had to pull to the right a little bit, and had you not done that, I'm sure she would have caught the front left corner of your car. It's pretty crazy. Plus, it would have been nice to see her face. That would have been probably a good shot right there.
Big Daily 582 says yup.
My cows. Yeah, so my plan for tomorrow is like just to play it by ear. I'm not going to go out if the roads are not good, but I might be, you know, if I can see a way to get a few shots outside, either walking around or something. Otherwise, maybe Monday I'll get out on the road again. Yeah, I mean, Jennifer, one of the bakery owners, she's talking like Monday. I'm not sure what we might end up doing Monday. I think that's up in the air. The thing with ice, though, you've got more of a concern about power lines and stuff. Hopefully we don't get that, much less than what they're saying. Or much more. But it tends to be much less. More often. I see people. I'm telling you, the bakery is like super busy this morning. It's pretty crazy. People gotta have their donuts, man. They gotta have their donuts. And their Danishes. All right, John, that's the end of our trip. We'll see what happens. Civilization comes to an end. Look at that. All right, man. Well, if you get online, I'll probably catch you a little bit later. Thanks for stopping in. Good chatting. And I am headed into the bakery with my trays. Probably do a
Living Daily
help them out a little
582
bit.
says glad I caught a live.
Yeah, I know. Normally, well, it's 8 o'clock. This is late for me, I think. All right, man. I will catch you later. Next time you'll be the one behind the wheel. Talk to you later.